Hey there, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another video. This is the start of me answering the questions for the Q&A. The deadline was Saturday, November 24th. It is Saturday. Had a long week of work, so just relaxing. What I'll try to do is with each, I don't know how many parts there'll be, but with each part I'll put down below the people who asked questions so that you can look at each part. And hey, your questions are in this part or the other part. But let's get right to it. Whatever happens, thank you everyone for sending in questions. That's always very humbling, very cool, so thank you for that. First up, we start with Justin Whitworth, who is asking, is there anything you wish that would have a DVD or Blu-ray available in the US or had a better DVD Blu-ray? I could spend a whole hour on that, because to have a DVD or Blu-ray available at all, The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, which I have a poster right there that someone was nice enough to send me, because that's not even on Blu-ray, and I love The Golden Child. It's one of my favorite comedies, but that's only on DVD. The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones, very underrated film. That's only on DVD. I wish that I had a Blu-ray. Warning Sign, underrated film from the 80s. Wish that I had a Blu-ray. Rad, that'd be fun to have on Blu-ray. Get Thunder in My Heart. That's a fun flick. But that doesn't even have a DVD, let alone a Blu-ray. Gleam in the Tube with Christian Slater. Good luck trying to get a DVD of that. I have like a... Someone sent me a DVD from overseas a long time ago, which I have, thankfully. But yeah, if you don't have that, good luck finding the film. But I mean, there are tons of movies. And as for better DVD or Blu-ray, the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoon, which had a Blu-ray release of the whole set of seasons, but you're lucky if you can find the individual DVDs, because I think the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoon is vastly underrated. Scare Tactics, which is a TV show I like. Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. Wish they had good DVD releases, let alone to be on Blu-ray. I mean, the list is huge. And let alone better, the first Ninja Turtles film, the first Ninja Turtles flick from 1990. Why that doesn't have a special edition boggles my mind. Same with Mortal Kombat from 1995. Why is Double Dragon getting a special edition? Fucking Double Dragon. If I want to see a Double Dragon movie, I watch Showdown Little Tokyo. Why the fuck is that getting a special edition? But Mortal Kombat still does not have one. But Double Dragon is getting it? As cool as Super Mario Bros. Got it, I'm surprised. I have the DVD from overseas. Documentary was cool. But like, all the video games except Mortal Kombat, the best one. Fuck if I know. So yeah, I just see what I mean. I just spent a whole hour on that. Have you heard of the TMNT IDW comic books? They look much better than the awful Michael Bay produced films and the awful 2018 series. Yeah, a long time ago, I think Aaron and some other guys, they sent me a couple issues. They seem pretty good. I just haven't been a comic book reader for a long time. I still have some old comics over there, but it's just one of those things that I just haven't read comics for a while. Either I'm busy with movies or going on the internet and watching videos on YouTube or doing other stuff, or once in a blue moon playing a video game. But I have seen them and they do seem pretty good. Comic book series. I know there's a pairing between them and Batman, which is pretty cool. Same with the Ghostbusters. So there's been some fun team ups. But yeah, it's definitely better than Michael Bay's bullshit, and that new series can kiss my ass. But people liked it. I don't know why. Teach their own. Some of your favorite artists for music: AC/DC, Metallica. I like this one called Dance with the Dead. It's a newer one. They've done some really cool renditions of Painted Black and Kickstart My Heart and a Metallica song. God, I can't blanking out on that Metallica song that they did. Master of Puppets remix by Dance with the Dead. Definitely take a listen to that. Dance with the Dead's version of Master of Puppets is epic. But yeah, AC/DC is my favorite. I'm pretty open to a lot of bands. Soundtracks back in the day, like Rocky 4 and Cobra, Maximum Overdrive. Well, that's AC/DC. Movie scores, Jerry Goldsmith, James Horner, of course, John Williams. I don't mind, and was even with certain people, like, I'm not a big country music fan, but every once in a while, the song at the end of Frequency by Garth Brooks, that was a pretty good song. Rap, there's some rap I don't mind. It just depends. I'm open to any genre of music, just depends if the song sticks out for me or not. There's some songs by Motley Crue, there's some songs by Linkin Park. It didn't go all over the place. So, but that's a couple. Keep up the good work. You're still one of my favorite YouTubers. Thank you for being real and honest here. Thank you so much, Justin. It's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Next up, we have Jason Johnson. Would you like to see a Stallone versus Statham film? Just curious. Sure. It'd be better than the shit he's doing now with Escape Plan 2 and this new Rambo film that we don't need, because Rambo 4 ended perfectly. And, people are like, what's this? Sometimes people, what's the camouflage? It's a Rambo cap. That's why I always wear this, because I love Rambo. I love the character. I don't want the character to be fucked up. That's my problem. I don't want a Creed or Creed 2 where all I've heard is they just rip off Rocky 3. Oh, he got beat up, Adonis, and then he wants, a rematch, and then Rocky's gonna give him the eye of the tiger, so down and dirty, training. And it's like, I saw this in Rocky 3. And then putting the Rocky 4 nostalgia flag over it. I don't need this shit. I don't need, what's this new one? Bat trays, butt fuck, backhand. I want to see Hunter. The people are like, oh, they're saying he's going to do that. They've been saying he's going to do that for years. I don't buy it until he's filming it. Yeah, I'd rather see a Stallone versus Statham movie than bat trays, whatever the fuck. Draw trays over your corpse, you fucking tracer. God damn. But yeah, Stallone vs. Statham, I would see. Jason Johnson. Next is Michael Network. Thoughts on these films? And he has a list of films. Bad Times at the El Royale. Haven't seen it. Trailer didn't look too bad. Widows. I don't know anything about. Mission Impossible Fallout. I did review that film. The review's on the channel. I loved it. It's definitely one of the best films of the year in my opinion. The Maid, I did review that as well. That's on my channel. Like I said in the video, if you're asking, just go to my channel, type in the name of the movie, or go up, type in Rambo Ride for Life and the name of it, and you'll find it. But I did review Mission Impossible Fallout and The Maid. Fallout I loved. The Maid, I didn't hate it, but it was disappointing. But I didn't hate it. There's some good elements. Jason Statham's good. I like the concept, but it needed a lot more. It should have been R-rated, and it needed a lot more insanity. And not the Sharknado type insanity. I'm talking about gusto with action and rampage. Like the big shark should have had a gigantic fucking rampage at the end, and it didn't. It was kind of blue balls. So anyway, that's just my opinion on it. Dylan Morris doesn't have a question, but he says, sounds awesome. No, looking forward to the rant of Creed 2. Anyways, hopefully I'm able to make it there Saturday night. I hope he's not thinking this is a live thing, because I can't do live anymore, because this internet connection I have nowadays is shit. If I did live, it would be stuttering and stopping. Davey Viz, plot twist, he actually ends up liking the film. By this point, it would be a miracle if I liked the film. You know, sometimes you just know. You know, and you can gauge on if a movie's your cup of tea. Tim Line, I like the 1989 marathon idea. Thank you. Vin, I'll be looking forward to Q&A. I know that 80 movies is your favorite movie ever. Thank you, Matt. Oh, thank you, Vin. That's very nice of you. What is your PayPal, please, Matt? Aquaman's out soon. I'm looking forward to reviewing that. You, I don't really want to watch new movies. The thing is, folks, with work being so much more hectic, so much more crazy. I'm working Saturdays now. I worked Thanksgiving, and no, the place I worked at does not have time and a half, and they're allowed to do that. So it's just, I have nights off, but then I'm so tired. I just really don't want to go out and watch a movie that I have no interest in. It's one thing to stay at home and, and I don't, why you watch a cam? I just don't want to, I don't want to experience movies that I know I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't want to be a gimmick, and most people feel it's a gimmick, and I'm giving a bunch of reasons why, but uh, I don't really want to do that stuff anymore. Like, I just want to review stuff I want to review. I wanted the 1989. I want to do marathons. I want to do a Chuck Norris marathon. I want to do a Dolph Lundgren marathon. I want to do those two one day. I'm thinking of doing the 1989. I don't want to go out to see Aquaman or Glass or such. I'm sorry, folks. So I'm not even going to give out my PayPal. He's like, oh, well, he'll do this if you pay. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just not interested. I don't want to waste, 2 hours of time, which I don't have much time anyway, to suffer through a movie. But it's one thing if I'm doing this and I'm not sure. I don't know. I just have no interest. So sorry, Vin. And just not for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting up there and things change. Lucas Green asks. He has 10 questions. Lucas Green. Who do you prefer as Spidey's arch nemesis, Green Goblin or Venom? Love to hear your answer and explanation. I guess it would depend on the story. I would say Venom because, this is a character that, at least in my eyes, knows everything about Peter Parker because the symbiote was a part of Peter Parker. So you could play mind games with Parker. Granted, Green Goblin does too, but with Venom, he was part of Spider-Man. Knows how he moves, knows everything in his head, because he was in his head for a while. Spidey sense doesn't work on the guy. It's sort of the mirror reflection of himself. The darkness version of himself. And plus, aesthetically speaking, I love the design of Venom. Love the idea behind Venom. But Green Goblin, there was this one comic book storyline, and I don't remember what the hell it was called. But he drugged Spider-Man and kept drugging him to break his mind, or trying to break his mind. And he had like Spider-Man on these drugs. And for some reason I want to say it was like a 2000s comic. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember that being sort of a, ooh shit, sort of what the fudge storyline. But I mean, if I had to pick, probably Venom. But if he did Green Goblin a certain way, that could work too. The question two: who do you prefer and why? Terminator or RoboCop? The first Terminator is great. I guess RoboCop because the hero. I was more of the guy rooting for the hero than the villain. I know he's the hero in T2, but with RoboCop, feel sorry for the character, Peter Weller. This is a guy who had a wife and a kid, and they're now gone, not by choice. The tragedy of him being gunned down, and then the triumph of him exacting his revenge in this bloody, gory Paul Verhoeven fashion. Uh, I'll buy that for $1. Great music, great action. So I love the first Terminator as a horror movie, but RoboCop I would pick. And the Tremors movies, which of the three monsters do you like the best? Graboids, Shriekers, or Ass Blasters? It's definitely not Ass Blasters. It's just the silly name, the silly defense of, how they fly. Shriekers I thought were pretty cool in Tremors 2. Which honestly, that's when the series should have ended, was Tremors 2. That's the last really good one. Tremors 3 was I gotta go with the old school Graboids. They're under the ground, there's seismic shifts and to not make a noise. It brings a certain mystery of where they are. Are they over here? Are they over there? And they're so much bigger than Shriekers, so there's a danger threat, more of a danger threat. So I go with the Graboids. I love the look of them. Who would you say is the worst Ninja Turtles villain? The ones in the Michael Bay movies. Those are the worst. I get what you mean by the question. I don't know about worst, because all I'm thinking of now is like the 2003 cartoon, and I don't know if I could say worst, but I'm going to go controversial and say most overrated. I think Bebop and Rocksteady are the most overrated in the 80s cartoon. Because since then, everyone's like, Bebop and Rocksteady's got to be in everything. I'm like, they're just two idiots. And then there were two dumbasses in Michael Bay's movie. Maybe if they were done, in my opinion, the right way, they could work. But I don't know. I know that's controversial. But it's just I think it's just one part of that thing where, I grew up with the 80s cartoon, but it's also become the shackles on the franchise because we can't go too far because you gotta go connected to the 80s cartoon. So they gotta love pizza, they gotta do this, they gotta do that. We gotta have Crane, we gotta have Bebop, Rocksteady. Oh, there's none of that. Fuck. Yeah, I have 50 fucking references to it. I mean, worst. I think that, what was it, that 2012 cartoon, there's like a pizza monster. I know there was one in the 80s cartoon, but especially the one in the two. A lot of the villains in the 2012 cartoon that were pretty fucking lame. Dream Beavers, really? Dream Beavers. They just did that so that they could get Robert Englund to voice one of the Beavers. Just get it? Dreams, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger voicing one of them. So, I mean, that has a lot of shit. Who's your favorite Transformer? I didn't grow up much with Transformers, but I would say Optimus Prime. The voice actor does a really good job, Peter Cullen, and brings a certain gravitas to his voice performance. That's one of the reasons why I got pissed off with the 80s. Well, not pissed off because I already knew about it and I didn't grow up with the cartoon. But the movie I'm not the biggest fan of because they killed the best character off very early on. If you don't make a Transformers the movie, it should have starred Optimus Prime. Why couldn't Optimus Prime fight Galvatron and the Unicron? And why the fuck couldn't that be Optimus Prime kicking his ass? Wouldn't that be epic? Even if, I'm not a big fan of that movie either. I mean, granted, I don't like the Michael Bay films. The first two I used to like, but for me, they haven't aged well. Those two live-action films, in my opinion. But I will admit, back in the day, I did like them for eye candy, action sequences, special effects. And the special effects are still good, and the score by Steve Jablonsky is pretty solid. But I don't know, you watch them again, it's like, the jokes are cringeworthy, the pissing, the dog fucking. Alright, that's getting bad. But even the 80s animated film I'm not a big fan of. Except the soundtrack. But it's like, I don't give a fuck about Judd Nelson's fucking asshole dumbassness Transformer. Why could Optimus Prime be the fucking star of the movie and kick ass? And like, he's one of the last remaining, and he's gonna go and make the motherfuckers pay. Even if you're a fan of that Transformers the movie, 80s flick, could you admit that it would have been better if Optimus Prime was the actual fucking star? So that's my opinion. So yeah, Optimus Prime. How are you dealing with Stanley's passing? Honestly, I didn't really feel anything of it. I mean, I respect Stan Lee. I give credit what Stan Lee accomplished. But it's one of those things that when I heard about it, like, oh. But it wasn't a shock because he lived a good life and he lived to be very old. I mean that in a good way. You know, he was, what, 90-some years old? So good on the guy. Wasn't he like 98 or something? It was in the 90s, and that's, you know, sadly not too many people make it up to that age. But for me, I mean, it's more heartbreaking that, you know, Paul Walker or Robin Williams or Roddy Piper, you know, but, you know, Stan Lee is like, oh, you know, I respect what he did. He seemed like a nice guy in his interviews, and whether you see him working with Kevin Smith, the Dinner for Five, which Kevin Smith hosted. Dinner for Five was a show that Jon Favreau hosted on Bravo, not Bravo, Independent Film Channel. I think it was that. It was one of those channels. I think it was IFC. I could be wrong though. Yeah, it was IFC. Jon Favreau hosted this show that he would invite friends and they would talk about the business or talk about whatever over dinner. And it was a pretty cool show. At one point, Kevin Smith hosted, and like it was him, Jason Lee, Mark Hamill, Stan Lee, and J.J. Abrams. And this is like J.J. Abrams when he was making Mission Impossible 3 type of thing, or after that. So, and, you know, Stan Lee seemed like a nice guy. So, you know, may you rest in peace. My favorite dinosaur, probably the T-Rex. Just seemed like a powerful creature. Loved the look, the design of the T-Rex, which I know sounds stupid. It's not like, you know, something. It's something that existed, but I like, you know, when the T-Rex is used in a movie the right way. It's always a cool moment. 8 are the franchises you wish would stop right now. Pretty much all of them, except John Wick. But other than John Wick, pretty much all of them I wish they would stop. That's why I've said many times. These franchises need to stop. I don't want to see more Elm Street movies. I don't want to see more Chainsaw Massacre movies. I don't want to see more Halloween movies. Sadly, I did. Which is one of the reasons I don't want to see shit like Aquaman and fucking Glass and all this shit. Because I don't want to waste my fucking life watching these shitty movies. It's not worth it. Life's too short, man. And so many of these, I don't want to see another Rambo. I don't want to see more Creed, Cruds. Do your own stuff. Yeah, once in a while I like Deadpool 2 and I like Mission Impossible Fallout, but it's funny that like my 2 favorite films of the year are not franchises, are not remakes or reboots or sequels. It's Searching and Mandy. Those are my 2 favorites of the year. I want to see more films like that. Which leads to question number 9. Is there still hope for movies you think it's the gems you gotta look for? It's the gems like A Searching, like Mandy, that are not going to be advertised. They're not going to be on Wikipedia for coming out in 2019. They'll come out of the woodwork. They'll come out of the corner and surprise you. And that's what I look forward to. That's just my opinion. So yeah, the hope is there in the hidden gem. But it's not saying much. 10, favorite Batman villain. I haven't read too many Batman comics, so I would not be the right guy to ask about that. All I really have... And I haven't seen much of Batman the animated series. I've seen just a couple episodes, and that was a long time ago. And I'm not going to pick up that box that's just too damn expensive. So, all I can really reference is the movies. And, The Joker by Jack Nicholson, I would say is my favorite Batman villain. Because I thought Heath Ledger did a good job, but I thought Jack Nicholson, he's the one I looked to as the Joker. Although I really like Batman Returns, I like Catwoman and the Penguin and that too, but I deal with Jack Nicholson's Joker. I hope I gave you some good questions. You did. Keep up the awesome vids. Your opinions deserve to be said despite the hate you get. Thank you. It's very kind of you to say. So next up is Harvey Plissken. And if you're wondering what the type-in is, I just want to make sure I get these names correctly. Three questions. Thank you for the questions, by the way. Do you think we will ever get to see another Attitude Era in wrestling, or at least another Monday Night War? Sadly, no. The reason being is that the reason the Monday Night War happened was competition. And sadly, there is no competition for WWE. That's why I fucking haven't watched that shit for a decade. I mean, once in a while, you flip through YouTube and then, I'm like, this shit sucks. I'm not fucking wasting my time. When you have them wrestling fucking people in bunny suits, or this was years ago, you have people like the Three Stooges, when that fucking Three Stooges movie came out, guest co-hosting, really? Or didn't Dennis Miller or some Seth Green? I like Seth Green, but it's like, it just... And then you have that controversy nowadays. Didn't they go over to Saudi Arabia to do a fucking event? Even though Saudi Arabia, didn't they kill a reporter? Like an American reporter? Was it the Washington Post, or... It was some very big publication, and the motherfuckers killed the reporter. And these are like rich assholes who pretty much hired WWE, come play wrestling for us. And WWE said yes because they're whores. Vince McMahon He's out of touch. He don't give a fuck, and he's a dick. He don't give a fuck. And that's the thing with Monday Night War. You need another company, and there are none. TNA is not going to do it. Other companies, they don't have the big name that people don't. People know. When I say people don't know New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'm talking about the regular person you find. They'll, if you say WWE, WWF, it's like, okay, I know what you're talking about. If you say New Japan or whatever, it's like, what? Japan what? Japan? No. Then you have to go into explanation. But yeah, you'll never get another Attitude Era because they're a corporate business. They're playing to the kids. Why do you think they had John Cena on top for so long? Because he sold money, merchandise to the kids. And they want... think about back in the day when Vince McMahon, before the WCW, before the Monday Night War, where he had... what was that? It was a cartoon. It was a Saturday morning cartoon. The early 90s WWF. Where you had Bastion Booger, or the fucking guy made of foam and shooting foam out, whatever the hell his name was. A fucking giant aid where a fucking chicken came out. This is the shit they were doing. And yet they have the gall to make fun of WCW for, look at RoboCop. You had a giant fucking chicken come out. RoboCop was silly in WCW, saving Steen, but it was still more badass than a giant fucking chicken coming out of a fucking egg. And this is like for one of their big, like, SummerSlam, no, not SummerSlam, like Royal Rumble or Survivor Series. No, it must have been like Survivor Series, because it was around Thanksgiving. These are the kind of people you're dealing with. So yeah, you're never going to get that. Never going to happen. You need another company. Like, honestly, I don't really talk about politics, so I'm not going to go into Donald Trump and all that shit. That motherfucker should have bought a wrestling company. Donald Trump. I just think of him just he's rich as fuck. And be like, I'm out of it. Let's beat Vince McMahon because we shaved Vince McMahon's head. That's why I thought Donald Trump, because of that WrestleMania where Stone Cold Steve Austin was the referee, and what was the guy's name? Bobby Lashley versus, I forget the other guy. The Battle of the Billionaires or something. So yeah, I mean, do that, but that's never going to happen. Out of all the action figure lines made for the Ninja Turtles franchise over the years, which one is your favorite? I would love to get this one day, but it's pretty expensive. They did this action figure of the 90s Ninja Turtle characters from the movies. And like they did a Raphael one that looked just like he did in the 1990 movie. And it looks beautiful. But it's also expensive as hell. It's like hundreds of dollars. Which is, that's way too much money for a figure. I mean, I did it because of the detail. But it's way too much fucking money. And it's just... but it looks beautiful. So I would say that's my favorite. Just, you could tell like the detail they did on it. What other action figure lines do you collect? I don't really collect much. I mean, I have a couple over there. I have like a Harvey Plissken one, a Freddy Krueger, and an Ash from Army of Darkness. And then like a couple Ninja Turtles from back in the day. So those are... and then the Danny Glover from Predator 2, which was one of the best gifts I've got. I have that. Which, it's an action figure. It's tall, but... so I don't really collect them anymore. But then you say you would like to collect. Well, I mean, the 1999 Raphael one. If there was a figure on Rambo, especially one like he has the bow and arrow with the C4 tipped explosive, if there was one with him doing that, that would be awesome. If there was a Cobra one, especially where he had like the Jadamat machine gun in a pose, that'd be really cool. Van Damme hard target, that'd be a great one. Like Van Damme with his shirt and the shotgun, like silver shotgun and hard target. Like if they did ones of those, I love to get my hands on them. If you had to bring any actor, actress, director back for one last film, who would you pick? Brandon Lee. If I have to pick one, Brandon Lee. I want Brandon Lee to do one more. You know what? A shitload of films, but if it's only one, okay, Brandon Lee. I don't know what film it would be. Spider-Man. Yeah. I think he would have been a great Spider-Man. But I mean, just any type of action, but with a big budget film. Brandon Lee was. I don't know. That's the name I thought of first. Brandon Lee. That's a guy who's just cut so short. I love Rapid Fire. I reviewed that. Love Showdown Low Tokyo. I also reviewed that film. So that's yeah, that's the one I would pick. But thank you for the questions. Next is from Dinobot Kiryu. Sorry if I say the names wrong. Probably did say the names wrong. Dinobot Kiryu. Kiryu. Yeah, I know I'm butchering the name. Which one of these would be more painful for you to sit through again? Peter Jackson's King Kong or Godzilla 2014? More painful? Honestly, Godzilla 2014. Because Bryan Cranston dies, and I'd be like, why the fuck are you killing the best character in the movie? Or, why the fuck are you killing... Well, I can't even say best character. The best actor in the movie. I guess really the best character in the movie, too. Why are you killing him first? Before we even get to fucking Godzilla. Why don't you kill the other fucking guy? Aaron Taylor Johnson, whatever the fuck his name is. Ford Brody. Who is the person with a fucking Ford pickup truck. Pick his ass up and throw him out in the movie. So that would be it. The more painful sit. What's the film you think would have been a lot more great if they worked on it better? Would have been great. The Maid. I mean, someone mentioned The Maid. Man, you should have had the fucking guy who did the Hills of Eyes remake. Why can't I remember his fucking name? Alexander Aja. Should have had that fucking guy do The Maid. And make it R-rated and make the shark have a fucking rampage at the end. Like, that's the film that should have been fucking better. The Happy Time Murders. Which you should have had a fucking guy trying to be Peter Jackson, Meet the Feebles, like Insanity, Go for Broke, and not a lame, Melissa McCarthy comedy. And you should have had Melissa McCarthy in it in the first place, and need a much better script and direct. So I mean, a lot of films this year, like The Happy Time Murders, like The Maid, should have been better. I mean, I'm trying to think now. Stallone's Judge Dredd. If Stallone's Judge Dredd was more like Carl Urban's Judge Dredd, where it's just a balls to the wall, R-rated action movie, fuck Rob Schneider, fuck. Well, we want to be PG-13, but we can't get it, so it's R-rated. So yeah, and the over-the-top dramatic acting. Just have Stallone talk like he did in Cobra. which he does a couple times in the movie. Like, that's a film that could have been a lot better. I'm sure there's plenty more, but those are those are a couple that come to mind. But thank you for the questions. The Poet 2000. What is your favorite original TMNT episode? I actually haven't seen those 80s. And you know what? It's because I revisited a couple and I wasn't as much of a fan as I was when I was a kid. And that's the thing, like I like the 80s cartoon for nostalgia, but it's not in the same way I love the 2003 cartoon. Like the 2003 TMNT cartoon, I sincerely enjoy and should still watch, other than the shitty music. But other than that, I really enjoy that show. The 80s cartoon, again, I enjoy it for nostalgia reasons, but it's just, I found it a bit cringeworthy to watch when I saw some recently. When I say recently, I mean a couple months ago. It's just, I'm not going to say I hate it or it's bad. It's just, I'm not as much of a fan of the 80s cartoon as I was when I was a kid. Because of, not just, some of the mistakes they made where sometimes it's the wrong voice or it's the wrong mask or some of the other mistakes they made, but the it's an Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s, and I'm in my 30s. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm growing too old for, I don't know. I can't say that because I can enjoy a Popeye cartoon that was made before I was born. Same with like the old Superman cartoon, so I can't even say that. So back in the World War II era, the Fleischer cartoon. So I like the 80s cartoon. I just don't love it as much as I did. If I had to pick a favorite, I don't know, the two that come to mind are Raphael ones. One that he meets Mona Lisa, and the other where he thinks he's dying, so he tries to save people and tries to stop this volcano. I think it's like Raphael versus the volcano or something. And I remember those two sticking out to me. So as of right now, I would say those two. But thanks for the questions. Next up is Mark Clayton. Hey Matt, I've only got one question. That's fine. What are your thoughts on Bad Boys 3 finally really happening? Thank you very much for taking the time to answer this and have a happy Thanksgiving. Well, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving too. Me, I worked. But, it is what it is. At least you're getting paid. So, can't complain too much about that. Bad Boys 3, I'll believe it when they're filming. I'll believe it when they're filming. Because I don't even think they have a director yet. And it's like, well, who's going to direct it? Michael Bay isn't going to direct it. Then there was going to be that fucking dumbass who did Joe Carnahan. Thankfully, he's not doing it. If people are like, who would I like to direct it? You know what? Give a chance to like Isaac Florentine, who did Ninja Shadow of a Tear and some other pretty good ones with Scott Adkins and the Shepherd Border Patrol. Or give it to the guy who did Final Score with Batista in the tournament. God, why can't I remember his fucking name now? Like, give him a chance. I gotta check that real quick. Like, Scott Mann. Like, give Scott Mann or Isaac Florentine a chance to direct it. I'd be curious. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that'd be willing to give those guys a chance. I mean, it's Hollywood. You really think? So, I can't really say anything until it's actually filming. Because they've been talking about Bad Boys 3 for a while. And you know, I don't. I learned my lesson when it was said Jackie Chan, Stallone are finally going to do a movie. He's going to ex-bag that, and then it didn't end up happening. Just Stallone left to do shitty movies like his Steve Plan 2 and 3 and Bat Trace, or whatever the fuck it's called. No, don't do a film with Jackie Chan. Something people actually want to see. Do Bat Trace, where you're second fiddle to Matthew Modine. And I have nothing against Matthew Modine. I like Matthew Modine, but it's like you're second fiddle to Matthew Modine instead of co-star with Jackie Chan. Am I missing something here? What's my boggle? My boggle is what the fuck is Stallone doing? But anyway, this is about Bad Boys. Bad Boys 3, I actually like the first two Bad Boys. I know I mentioned, franchises should stop, but that's one of those films I'd be curious about. Because I'm a big fan of the first two, and I like the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And honestly, Michael Bay should be doing those movies, not fucking... I think he's doing a film with Ryan Reynolds, but not fucking, those Transformer movies. Should have stopped doing them a long time ago and just stick to films like Bad Boys. When it's filming, and once I find out who the actual director is, like on the print, fine-tuned, and then I could give more of my thoughts on it. But thank you for the questions. Next up is Jackal Gold Kick. Yeah, this might be the last one I do for this part, because I kind of want to have these be an hour long, which is long, but not too long. You know what I mean? What's your favorite Resident Evil game? It'd be a toss-up between Resident Evil 4 and 2. 2's the first one I played, which I think I played that on this channel. And the Resident Evil 4, I played that back in the day on PS2 and just loved the game. Love the action, love the... Just a lot of fun to play. So if I had to pick, it'd be Resident Evil 4, which I think I played that on this channel as well. I think it's still up. So it'd be 4 and 2. Do you watch anime? Once in a blue moon. I have a couple anime reviews uploaded. Akira. I reviewed Akira. I liked Akira. That'd be my favorite. I think... Let me just go to YouTube real quick. Type in anime Rambara for life. In the search. Okay, I reviewed Princess Mononoke, The Animatrix, which I liked. I know I've done more. Maybe they don't come up as anime. But I swear, didn't I review Akira? I know I did. Yeah, I did 4 years ago because it was the 25th anniversary DVD. Ninja Scroll, that's the other one I was thinking of. Is that review still up? Yep, 5 years ago. I reviewed Ninja Scroll, that's a good one. Nice guy named Ghetto Jester sent me the DVD of that, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I would say Akira and Ninja Scroll are two of my favorites. So Once in a Blue Moon, but I'm not like a big anime guy. But there's a couple I've liked, and I know I've reviewed a couple on here. What's your favorite video game console? I honestly would say the PS2. Because some of my favorite games I played on the PS2. Silent Hill 2, which I love. Cold Fear, which is an underrated one. Resident Evil 4, which I love. Max Payne I played on PS2. Area 51 was a fun one. The Evil Dead games on PS2, which I played on here. Fistful of Boomstick, especially. I love that game. A lot of fond memories of games played on the PS2. I like, Super Nintendo's up there as well. Because you have Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, Maximum Carnage, Super Mario World, very fun one. Actually, the Super Nintendo has the one Zelda game I really like. And that's only because I haven't played too much of the older Zelda games. I haven't played none of the newer ones. But Link to the Past, I liked that game. The exploration and the look and the feel of the game. So PS2, Super Nintendo would be the two ones up there. What's your opinion on Eminem? I'm fine with it. He has a couple of good songs. Stan, and I don't really care for his Venom song, but there's a couple songs of his I don't mind. I can't think of the titles at the top of my head because I haven't listened to them in a long, long time. What's your opinion on the film 24 Hours to Live with Ethan Hawke? I've never seen that one, so I can't say anything about it. Your opinion on Resident Evil 7? Never played it because I don't have the system for it. Is it on like PS4? I don't have a PS4. Not getting anytime soon. But I've watched a playthrough of it. My friend Michael Keane, Phantasm. He played it. It looked like a fun game. And he had a very entertaining playthrough. So it looks fun. Your favorite part of Resident Evil 4? The village, castle, or the island? My favorite part... I honestly want to say the castle because in a weird way that's the close it's the Resident Evil 4 aesthetic, but you're indoors, so it feels like an older Resident Evil game because you're enclosed and you're going from room to room throughout this castle, and that's where you have like the blind berserkers. You first see them. When you get to the island, it just goes crazy with all the people with firepower and guns and rocket launchers, bazookas. And the village is fun because, usually when you play a game, that's the stuff you replay over and over again. But yet the Castle Island, a lot of times when you play, you only get so far, and then life happens. So you don't play for a while, and then when you come back, it's like, let me play from the beginning. Then you play the same parts again. So the village you're more used to. Yeah, I would say the castle. What's your opinion on the Final Fantasy games? I haven't played too much. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 3 back in the day. And I played Final Fantasy 7. Remember liking it. But I'm bad at RPG games. I'm horrible. And I just... I don't have much of the patience where you have to go and you have to... There's a certain phrase for you have to do. But you have to go get your hit points up again and again and again so you can level everything up. Farming. I'm just not a big farming guy where you have to get your hit points. So and I suck at RPGs, so it's not the game's fault, it's my fault. What's your opinion on Dynasty Warriors games? Never played any, so I can't say much. Thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead, a spinoff on Walking Dead. I haven't seen it, so can't say much about it. Because I saw like the first season of The Walking Dead, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to see any more. But that's just my opinion. But either way, Thanks for watching. This is part 1 of the Q&A. Stay tuned for part 2. See you guys later.